Hello, hello, and welcome to 1111 Oracle. And of course, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and supporting my channel. I very much appreciate your positive energy. Okay, so I bring to you a special reading. A special reading from the nature spirits, the elementals, the fairies, or however you would like to refer to this group of magical beings. So, in this reading, depending on what needs to heal, there will be a different group of elementals that will come forth with a special message of healing for you. I was inspired by the property that I stayed at for the past few days, and if you saw my claircognizance video, you have a beautiful backdrop of this forest and this very intense magical place. I say intense and magical because the energy felt very high, and it felt like there was some kind of almost like an energy center on that in the forest, in the property, on the land. And this was kind of confirmed through different strange occurrences that happened to me there. Namely, one being that I tried to do a second video, and unfortunately, every time I had my my camera aimed at the area, the trees, nature, etc., there was just all of this massive distortion. And it was kind of a little spooky and a little bizarre, because then I would aim it at me and there was no distortion. I'd aim it back at the forest. There was all kinds of distortion again. And so I tried to do a second film and I was just not able to do it. But I come with a special message from that place and an inspiration from that place to do this video, where I had this interesting encounter there with these sort of shadow beings, and that I kept seeing these sort of shadowy figures in the corner of my eyes. I got an interesting feeling, like, a little bit spooked, if you will. The thing about these beings is I did not feel like they were malevolent or malintentioned. So what I think is going on there in that property is that there is a lot of heightened elemental activity, for sure. And, unfortunately, elemental beings have always gotten a bad rap, a negative reputation. And this is unfortunately because a lot of misunderstandings between the humans and the spirit world, the way we take care of nature and plants, right, there's some kind of a disconnect. And so the elemental beings see some of the abuses on our end, and they don't always trust us. Now, that's not to say that there are a lot of elemental beings that do like, humans, and do like to spend time around us and all of that. And I'm going to come back to the idea about the shadow beings. So you might think that the shadow beings were these negative entities, right? And because, for obvious reasons, they look kind of scary, they come at night, the intuition I was getting, and I've heard this before as well, that there are beings that are of love, not light. They are of love, but they come from the dark. Just like there could be beings that are of light that come from a very ill-intentioned place. So just because a being is of the light does not necessarily mean that they are coming forward with love. And just because a being is from the dark does not mean they're coming forward with hate and fear. They may engender a lot of fear, but of course that does not mean that that they would like to, their sole reason for coming about is to scare you. It's just that their way of being, their way of existing within the spirit world is just different from maybe the way an angel would prefer to express itself, right? Now, not all elemental beings are like this. Some of them are very lighthearted. You can think of all the stereotypes for, fairy beings that you see, all the different fairy beings within the fairy family, including gnomes and elves and all that. But shadow beings are also, can be, in this case, in this property, they were part of this sort of spiritual family of elementals. I felt a lot of Native American energy there too. And there was this understanding with the video distortion that it's not so much that the beings of that land do not want me to put forth this video, but simply that this land is sacred and therefore shouldn't be put on film. So you have this in certain religions and certain cultures when things are sacred, you're supposed to approach with a certain amount of reverence and respect and care. And one of the conditions of entering into a holy site might be that you are not allowed to take any pictures. So it was very much almost like that experience that I was having. Here I am in this, this sacred space with this energy source emanating from the earth and a very heightened vibration. And here I am trying to film and I can't film. And I can't film because, number one, the energy is just too intense and too heightened. And the other reason that I couldn't film was, of course, just as a reminder, you are a guest. We are happy to work with you, kind of to whoever is there physically on the land. But you do not have permission to broadcast, images of this land out, kind of thing. There needs to be a certain amount of respect. So my second video, where I wanted to talk a little bit about the land there, I'm doing it now, where I'm back home and I'm in my space again. And I'm just getting the intuition to show you this rock that I took from the space. Now, in my mind, I had the thought that this was being gifted to me in exchange for, just being there, my presence, the Reiki that I was doing. It was just, I was very humble, just a little rock. And I'm not sure, it's not very focused. There we go. I still kept all the dirt in it because I just felt like it was, a good souvenir of the place. I just didn't want to clean any of it, like any of the energy off of it, just because it just had such a powerful feel. And I just want you to gaze at this rock a little bit and see if you feel any kind of connection to it. And let me know in the comments below if you do. All right, I'm curious to know. I'm going to leave it hanging out here a little bit. I'm curious to know what you experienced from this rock, if you had any experience. If you didn't, that's fine. But this has turned into a little bit of a ramble here, and I apologize for that. Of course, you can just fast forward to the selection below and the timestamps. But yes, so this energy in this property was very, very strong, and it really, I felt with the shadow beings when they were coming forward in the nighttime, I was a little spooked sort of seeing these figures in the corner of my eyes, the feeling I got was they were there to help heal me in a little bit of an abrasive way. So we'll see what comes forward for you in your selections, what elementals decide to come forward, because some of them may have a darker energy to them, and some of them might have a lighter energy to them. It all depends on you and what you need. The shadow beings might come to someone, and I know nothing about shadow beings, so if you do know any information about them, write down in the comments below, or any links, that would be super helpful. And up until my experience with shadow beings just recently, over the week, it's not necessarily a topic that I was very interested in, and I don't have any, I haven't read any literature really about them so much as I've just heard of other people's experiences. But the intuition I got with my encounter with these shadow beings is that they're just there to they feed off of something that you are willing to give up, some kind of a sacrifice, something that you need to sever, that you need to leave in the past, perhaps just even a toxic experience or relationship or pattern of behavior. And I also got this intuition through shuffling my cards with this deck that we will be using to connect. We'll be using another deck as well, but we'll be using this deck with these beautiful cards. Some cards for you. I don't know why. Maybe you need to see those right now. Does that tell you anything? Does that trigger your intuition in any way? Maybe that's a special message for you. Maybe even the number 48. All right. Add it up together. 12. 1 plus 2, 3. The number 3. That was also the number of the property. Once you added it up, 3. Number of celebration. So there's something that is coming to an end in order for blessings to come in. And that's what the shadow spirits were doing. They're not interested in, being soothing or coming through in a very easy and comfortable way. When they come to you, it's because there's something that's become so toxic, and it needs to go in order for them to feed off of it, eat it up, rid you of whatever is, this attachment that's dragging you down, freeing you of this attachment, of this chain, in order for you then to be open to receive beautiful blessings thereafter. All right. I hope that makes sense, and by all means, maybe one of you will intuitively need to connect with the shadow beings today. We'll see which message and elemental comes through for you. Now, before we go too deep into the reading, I also want to take a moment to thank the elemental beings and ask for permission. Elemental beings in particular are closer to humans, so they do appreciate a lot of the societal, if you will, niceties that we, just like we have our own etiquette, they have their own etiquette. So it's important to do things like when you're working with elementals and you're not used to working with them, asking them for permission. Just because you're free, maybe they're not free, they're doing something else, right? They're busy taking care of their own business. So you have to ask them for permission and, thank them for helping. And of course, it's always nice to do that in general with spirit, but with elementals, it oftentimes needs to be a little more ceremonious than asking for help, maybe from an archangel who would have more of a readiness to help, right? That's their sort of, that's their MO, their modus operandi. They like to get in there and help no matter what. Whereas an elemental might say, well, I'm a little busy tending to some plants, or I'm a little busy, having my Zen moment over here. So they have more firm boundaries, like we have more firm boundaries. So anyway, I ask for permission, and I humbly thank you, the beautiful elementals, for helping us discover what my viewers need to heal. And we look forward to connecting with you momentarily. Thank you very much. All right, so thank you for listening to that little bit about the elementals and this property that I was on. Anyways, very fascinating. Feel free to ask me other questions if you want to connect with me in the comments below, or even in an email. Before we move forward with the reading, I would just quickly like to mention a special promotion that I'm having. This is an extended Valentine's Day promotion that expires on February 22nd. February 22nd. That's Monday, February 22nd. If you email me on or before February 22nd, with a request for a reading, I will give you the reading for discounted, heavily discounted price, where usually my readings are at $88 for the hour USD. Now, with the special promotion that I'm doing, you will get a reading for only $22. So that might be of interest to you. Email me if you want to know more information. Of course, you also need to email me a screenshot of your subscription to my channel in order to be eligible for the $22 promotion. Okay, the other reading that I'm doing is purely through email, whereas the $22 promotion one will meet on Zoom, and it'll be a one-on-one recorded reading. Whereas if you're not sure about that and you just maybe have a couple of questions, I am offering $1 a question readings, completely done through email. So if you're interested in that one, I encourage you to email me for more information, and we'll go from there. All right. Now I have your choices ready for you, and if you are at this point, thank you for listening to my little spiel, and I look forward to reading for you very soon. So let's look at the choices. All right, we have choice number 1. Choice number 1, this is sort of like, it's not a crystal, it's like a resin thingy. There's a whole bunch of stuff inside, including some rocks and a coil there. It's supposed to clear away negative energy and protect against electromagnetic smog. Not sure how it works, but it has a really interesting earthy elemental feel to it, actually, speaking of elementals. And a friend of mine made a bunch, and she was just giving some away, so she gave me this one. All right, number 2, I have this rock that says always on it. Number 3, if you want to see it closer. And number 4. All right. So let's tune in here. Let's look at what needs to be healed for number 1. All right, number one. Let's take a look at what needs to be healed. So I'm getting a message just to channel without cards for a moment. And now it's the elemental spirits that are guiding me from this property, this connection with the land that I've now cultivated just from being there. So they have agreed to work with me and they're guiding my reading for you today. So number one, the first thing that I'm getting is that there is a lot of happiness that is going to be coming into your life. You are going to be able to get to a sort of bliss state, perhaps in your spiritual practices. There's something coming in where you're really going to feel on top of the world. But in order for this to happen, death to something that is not serving you anymore. Let's get in a little bit more information on what exactly we're talking about here. Let's shuffle the cards here. Wow, it comes out. Does it come out again? Oh, a different one, but still. Okay. And then I'm going to take out a card from another deck that I have. Okay, what needs to be healed? Elemental beings. They're going to let us know who they are. Okay, so let's see. You have the Singer of Connection, the Green Woman, the Fairy who was kissed by the Pixies, and you also have bliss, contentment, satisfaction, and security. There is a lot of goodness coming and a lot of blessing coming to you in your life. Now, the elemental who has decided to work with you, has been called forth to work with you, is kind of like I guess you can say a sort of a centaur type being, but not necessarily. The Green Woman. So there's this elemental being that sort of like like an earth goddess in a way. There's this very motherly goddess-like energy about her, almost like Mother Earth, but a little bit more, almost less regal than Mother Earth would be, and more, almost just silly and frisky in a way. Just a kind of a fiery spirit, even though this is an elemental very much connected with the earth. This elemental has a very big sense of humor. They're asking you to, this may be something that comes up a lot in your life, they're asking you to maybe not take things so seriously. Because actually, what is being healed is, it's almost like you're not seeing the beauty that surrounds you. You're not seeing the beauty, or perhaps you are seeing it, but it's almost like you would rather just escape it. And this elemental that's coming forth is saying that it's very much the world that you live in that needs to be valued. And they're saying dreams are great, and it's great to escape, and it's great to just kind of disappear to somewhere else for a little bit if you need a break or whatever. But they're saying that, you are just a delight to behold. You have this great energy to share with the world. You have this beautiful, light-hearted spirit to you. And the elemental, the Green Lady, is asking you to just open your eyes to kind of how popular you are in a way, how loved you are, how much even though you feel like you're alone, there are so many people around you who just want to please you, who just want to make you happy. And you're asked to take some time to yourself, of course, ground your energy, take naps if you need to, appreciate your alone time when it comes, of course. Relax, sleep, recuperate, take care of your body. But also, when you are ready, even if you have to push yourself a little bit, the green lady comes with a little bit of force. She doesn't care about being in your face if she needs to tell you an important message. So the green lady is saying to get out of your bubble and to just really get out there and connect with others. I'm feeling like this almost lethargic, there's a lethargic feeling as I read your cards. And this lethargy comes from just, wanting to, maybe it's because of COVID and you're used to going in a certain pattern and you're used to your routine, and it's been like this for a while where, you have to stay home and social distance and not, get together with too many people or any people at all, depending on where you live. But this green lady spirit, elemental spirit, is coming forward to say that all of that is about to change. All of that is changing in your favor. Things will be opening up, or are opening up, or have been open, depending on your location, for a little while. And you're encouraged to connect and commune with others. But they also come, the elementals, but in particular the green lady, also comes with the message of asking you to connect with the elemental beings, right? You are the kind of, I'm not sure, actually, let me ask if you do have a lot of, what kind of spirit guides you have, because that might be interesting here. Yeah. Okay, there it was instantaneously. Are you drawn to the fairy realm? Have you always liked, that kind of topic about, elementals and you feel like you have a special connection to the earth? Well, you do, and you're not crazy. That does come from a real place. And actually, you have a lot of spirit guides, that are elemental beings, and they love you very much. And you're generally well received when you go into a new forested area or nature spot or garden, because of the way you take care of plants, because of the way you nurture others and help them to grow. You're generally very well received by the elemental beings because they see you and they recognize you as being a part of them, one of them, and almost like family. You have, if not family, you have a very special connection with them. So they're asking you to heal through nurturing your connection with them. And you can do this by just enjoying the time that you have out in nature, spending time in nature. You can also do this. I'm going to bring some plants out here to remind us of that beautiful connection with the nature spirits, with the plant spirits. Okay, so they're asking you to nurture your connection with the earth. The elementals are almost desperately asking you to do this because you have a green thumb, or you have the capability of growing a green thumb. No pun intended there. Yeah, you have a beautiful connection with spirit, and in particular a beautiful connection with elementals. They're asking you that in order to heal, spending time in nature and just communicating with them through drawing, through art, through fun, through play. If you do all of this, you're going to raise your vibration, and you're going to start to heal a lot of this feeling of just lack of motivation, lethargy, refusing to really try sometimes because you tried before and you don't want to try anymore. No one gets you, no one understands you. Well, I can tell you that not everyone will understand you, especially if you're as unique of a person as you are. But that doesn't stop people from trying to understand you and from caring about you and loving you. So you need to open your eyes to that. And the green lady is asking you to develop a strong connection with yourself and a strong connection with the earth, And if the connection with people is not always the strongest, that it's okay, because you're meant to align yourself with the right people, and you are meant to come into union with your soul tribe in this lifetime. So that should be a nice little confirmation if you're feeling alone. So that's pretty wonderful. And I hope you liked the reading. And if you did, feel free to give the video a like, comment down below, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next reading. All right, number two. Number two, I just want to point out this beautiful rock that I found on a property that I was at. Just a beautiful, beautiful rock. I mean, it's a little sparkly. You can't really tell. And I wanted to show you this rock in order for you to see if you can connect with its energy a little bit, since it comes from a very high vibrational place. And so before we start this reading of healing, I want you to just gaze at the rock that I'm holding and see if you can get any downloads, or see if anything comes through, or what you feel from the energy here. See what you're getting forward. All right, and I'll have it hang out in the background here. Okay, so let's shuffle your cards and see what kind of elemental being from this land wants to work with you, as well as what their message of healing is to you. So this should be interesting. Let's take a look. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and then one more here. All right. You've been in a sort of a gloomy place. There's a lot of sadness. It's a lot of sadness, perhaps even loss and grief. Let's take a look here. You have soul kin, the solitary, bliss. Pile 1 also got the card of bliss, so you may want to check that one out. If you feel so inclined, that seems to be a message for a lot of people regardless. Okay, to sleep and take care of your body. And then we have Gloomous Doom. Gloomous Doom. There's a reminder to connect with your inner child here, and not to let your adult self take over and corrupt the innocent inner child that you have, that you are, that you have within you, that you have within, that you are within. All right, let's lay out the cards, and then we'll talk about them. Okay, and see if you get any intuitions as I'm laying them out here for you. All right, let's see. So you have, I'm getting very strongly that you have a very heightened sixth sense. You don't always trust it. You kind of dismiss the intuitions coming through, and you just don't almost give yourself the time of day in general to develop a lot of the talents that you have. You like to spend a lot of time alone, and this is where you feel the most connected and the most yourself. There is a disconnect between you and possibly your family. If that doesn't resonate, then, chuck that thought out the window. But what I'm getting is that there is a certain amount of sadness in relation to not being able somehow to connect with your family members. It's a very specific message. The elemental that comes forth, of course, is dominus gloom. Dominus gloom comes forward with the message of saying, if you are always going to stay in a negative, lower vibration, then it will start to consume you and weigh you down. And then you will be like me. And you notice how his eyes are dark and the other eyes of the other aquatic beings are sort of translucent. It's almost like Glominous Doom has given up, and now his mission is to go around to people who are going through any kind of deep depression, or just a deep, grief or sadness, and to remind them to not spend too much time in this place, because he's coming speaking from experience. Then you will get bogged down. You will get bogged down by your past, and it won't allow you to move forward and to grow. And all you have to do is let it go. Right? All Dominus Gloom has to do is let that dewdrop or that ball of water, I'm not sure, he needs to let that go in order to already feel lighter. Now, it's almost like you choose to be alone and you choose to be solitary. Number one, it could be a few different reasons here, because, depending on who you are, you could be the kind of person who considers yourself more of a lone wolf, where you like to be by yourself. And that comes from a place perhaps of feeling constantly misunderstood. It can come from a place of abuse, where you were abused for a certain period of time, perhaps in childhood. So now your response is to hide away, escape the day, welcome the night, and just embrace it. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's beautiful to cultivate a healthy relationship with yourself, but the problem is that this relationship, when you're alone, is turning into a little bit of a toxic one for you. Now, I don't usually do this, but I would recommend you watching number one as well, if you chose this pile. So I get for number ones, those who just chose number ones, that might be the only pile for them. But I feel very strongly for pile twos, for everyone in pile two. Number one is also the reading for you. They kind of go hand in hand, and you'll see why. So you like to be alone as sort of a self-preservation and protection from others. You're afraid to be vulnerable. You're afraid to make those connections. You're afraid of being hurt. You're afraid of being taken advantage of. You're afraid of being misunderstood, of just disappearing into a crowd of people and not being able to be yourself. So it's easier to shy away from the crowd and just, spend time with the other crowd, which is another expression. It's an expression for the fairies. So I'm tying that in here because we're talking about elementals. But Dominus Gloom is saying, or Glominous Doom rather, Glominous Doom is saying, as much as we like to spend time with you, we want you to heal and progress. And in order to do that, you're going to need to open yourself up to others, to love that others bring you. And in your lifetime, you are going to be a caretaker for your own children. You are going to have your own family, whether that means that you will sort of create a family with friends, and maybe you take care of each other's children, sort of like a community, like takes a village to raise a child kind of concept. Or it could be that you and your significant other are going to have your own children or adopt children, or maybe through your line of work, you take care of children. Maybe you're a social worker, or maybe you're a teacher, or maybe you're some kind of a nurturer, maybe perhaps you're a nurse, but whatever you do, you are taking care of a new generation of children, and you are raising them to be healthy individuals. You are basically, your role in this world is very, very important. You are helping to mend the broken gap, the generational gap that's broken, in order for the new generation to come through and rebuild a lot of the toxicity and unhealthiness that we have in this society. So the work that you do for your children or others' children is going to be, it's going to create a domino effect on generations and generations and generations that come after them, and so on and so forth. Now, but I do see that for the vast majority of you, you are going to be cultivating your own family. And right now there's a disconnect. Right now there's a desire just to not want to have anything to do with anyone, and to spend time with yourself, because you say, well, I'm the only one who truly understands me and who gets me. And dealing with others can be very much of a heartache, as you know, compared to what I've experienced in the past, possibly with family. So that might be going through your mind, or that might be something you're experiencing right now. But Glominous Doom is encouraging you not to be like him, not to wake up one day and keep sinking and sinking down to the bottom of the ocean, or wherever Glominous Doom is. I don't know, but it seems pretty ominous. And Glominous Doom is saying, enjoy your alone time, have fun, relaxing. Spending good quality time with yourself is important, especially for you, as you are a very hypersensitive, energetically hypersensitive person. You're an empath. You know, most of you will be empaths, or at least you will be very strong HSPs, hypersensitive person, right? And so you need your alone time, but you have to make sure as well that you are spending time with the ones that, how about this? The ones that are ready to nurture and love you and empower you. Glominous Doom is encouraging you not to be like him, and to really spend time taking care and nurturing those relationships where you have a return, where you do get love and kindness back. Okay? You shouldn't be anybody's servant. Now, when you have kids, or if you have kids, it's a little bit different. But even then, your whole family should somehow be involved in helping each other and working as a team together. And so, for the vast majority of you, you are going to be building your own families, where you are essentially getting to be a pioneer in your family line and create a healthy, harmonious household that will give the firm foundation for your children in order to grow into healthy adults and create massive positive change in the world. So you are being asked an important task of breaking the conditioning, the old patterning of behavior you're asked to cut cords with that. You're asked to cut the cords with a lot of the sadness and unhappiness that's been passed down through your family line from generation to generation. And as you cut those cords, you will free yourself from this weight, and you will rise up to become a very strong and, full, you're going to feel full, wholesome feeling individual. So this is your main message here. This is the message to, of course, enjoy your alone time and your beautiful connection that you do have with the spirit world, with the elementals, with your angels, but to also not forget to nurture relationships with others that are healthy relationships. You don't have to have someone, others don't have to understand every little aspect of you entirely. In fact, it's good to have a little bit of mystery. If they don't understand your spiritual side, that's okay. It's all right. Because there will always be people who will. Like I said, you have a lot of people around you who do love you. And they may not understand you completely. But that's okay, because you're not going to understand them completely, and hence the mystery where you can learn new things about each other as long as you create a safe space. And they don't have to accept everything that you're saying either. If it's not in line with their beliefs, doesn't matter. Doesn't mean you can't have a healthy relationship with that other person. You don't have to agree 100% on anything. You don't have to be alone just because someone is coming from a different wavelength of understanding as you. So just one little thought to think about before I end this reading. And I wish you a wonderful, beautiful spiritual journey. And if you would like to share your experience or comment down below, I look forward to connecting with you, and I look forward to reading for you in the next video. Thank you for stopping by. Hello, number 3. Number 3. And your beautiful earthy rock here. So number 3. Let's take a look at which elemental being is coming forward to provide a message of healing for you. So let's shuffle the cards here. Which elemental being is coming forward for you? Whoa. All right, you have some interesting cards, my friends. Very interesting. There's something that you're in the process of cutting something out already and starting something new. Something that needs to end. A cycle, a negative abusive relationship, a negative abusive thought pattern, a situation that's unpleasant, a boring job. Something needs to end, and you need to initiate something new. All right, and you proceed with the most mature course of action for you, of course. But let's see. I'm going to take out one more card from here. Interesting. Well, the news is ultimately good. Let's start off with the most dramatic card that I pulled for you. So you have Death. Death is the Grim Reaper, right? One of the elementals that came forward for you. Don't get scared. It's more symbolic here than anything. It's spiritual, but we'll go into a few different meanings as well, because it might have more of a literal meaning for some of you. Only the people if that resonates, if the death card comes in because someone just passed away, that might be another reason why you are you received that card. So let's take a look at the other card. Singer of intuition. Someone developing their mediumship abilities. Are you communing with the spirits of the dead, right? Are you speaking with those who have passed on? You have fairy guide. So you have a fairy guardian angel, if you will, as one of your guides, guiding you through this process. And then we have before the gathering, which is all about the anticipation for, your celebratory moment. Okay, let me get these cards ready for you. If I can. There we go. What I'm getting is you're going through some intense kind of shift and change, especially with the death card. Now, if we look at the numbers, we have 7, number for spirituality, singer of intuition. That makes a lot of sense. 8, success. So something that's ending is going to end in a successful way, or what's coming through afterwards is going to be very successful. This brand new beginning that's opening up because of letting whatever needs to be cut out, letting that go. Okay, and then you have all this anticipation for this celebratory moment. So your moment is very exciting for you, where you are learning you have been learning. Now is not the time to learn. Sorry, spirit is correcting me. We're going to call him the Grim Reaper of the metaphysical world. Okay? Death has come towards you. This is a very intense card to have in a reading when I ask which elemental would like to come forward. Now, to be fair, you also have your fairy guide. So you are someone who is connected with the elementals, with the fae, and you have your own fairy spirit guide, which is awesome. And this is a very loving energy. This is a protective energy. This is an energy that thinks that you are very intelligent and very capable. A little bit of tough love at times, as they always try to push you to be your best. So they've been pushing you really hard right now to move into this new domain, whatever that may be. New land, new territory, right? You need to end something, or something is ending, something is coming to a close. So death comes forward to say, there is no vacillation allowed anymore. You need to make a decision. You need to decide in which direction you are going to go. It's not about making the wrong decision. You are not going to make the wrong decision because you've been thinking about making this decision for a very long time, and deep down you know the right choice. You've just been going back and forth on it because of fear. So whether that is someone needs to be cut out, it's possible, but that's not necessarily the case. It could be something, a cycle, a negative habit that you're doing needs to be cut out. Listen to your intuition to know what it is exactly that needs to be cut out, because you know what it is that needs to be cut out. Correct? You know what to do. If you just take a moment to just tune in and listen to your intuition, you know exactly what to do. Now, I'm getting an interesting thing coming through. As soon as you let go of whatever this is, maybe not just right there as soon as, of course, life is never that immediate, right? We're so used to having immediate gratification through just clicking on a button and then it takes us to the next page or whatever it is, right? Ordering things online, if you live in a place that where you could receive just different kinds of orders, Amazon, whatever. So you might not have something come at you immediately in that sense, but you will have something coming towards you pretty shortly after. You are going to be celebrating whatever it is, but you're only going to be celebrating. Death says you will only celebrate when you allow something to go. Something needs to go. Could be a person. Could be a situation. Like a living environment. A mentality that you have. A work ethic. I mean, there are so many different possibilities. But when you let go of whatever this is, and you know what I'm talking about. When I'm talking, this shouldn't be anything new. This is something that possibly other people have spoken to you about. This is something that you have gone over and over and over again in your mind, just determining what the best course of action would be. So you know what this is. And it's only going to feel right to let go of if it aligns with whatever it was that you were thinking about over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now be careful, because if the thought that you were having over and over again was, should I stay or should I go, for example, if you're in a relationship, and you have the feeling that you should stay, but there are a whole bunch of negative habits that the other person has that you don't like, well, welcome to being in a relationship. You have to decide whether the cons outweigh the pros then. And I'm sure you've already done this. Then the question begs a different kind of possibility, which would be, what are you doing to put in positivity into the relationship? Are you also putting in your share of positivity in the relationship? And you may very well be. I'm just talking here. There are different people tuning in, different lessons that need to be learned, right? But definitely you need to be honest with yourself and ask yourself what needs to go. What is it that needs to go? Something needs to go. It's an attitude, it's a behavior, it's a person, it's a situation. You're going to be the best judge of that. And your fairy guide has been guiding you through this process, I'm hearing, for a long time. There's almost an eye roll there on the fairy guide's end, like, come on, get it together type of feeling. But the fairy guide is also saying that you are going to be opening up your psychic abilities of speaking with those on the other side and guiding lost souls to their, rightful place, so to speak. You're going to be helping guide lost souls, both living and dead. Interesting. So that's a little message coming through for you, that as you let go of, as you let go of, maybe there's a certain way you've been trying to do things and it's not working, so as you let go of this technique and try something else, then you're also going to be simultaneously opening up your intuitive abilities, like megafold, and you are going to be able to speak with the land of the deceased. Going to be able to speak to those souls on that side, and you will also help souls cross over. You will also help lost souls in the physical. So I don't know what it is you're doing now, and I don't know what it is you're thinking of doing, but something big with your abilities and your psychic, your mediumship abilities, something is definitely coming your way. Something is brewing in the pot there for you. Something really, really big is coming your way. If you're afraid of cutting whatever it is out, don't be. Death says that death comes with this message. I am only I only come in passing. I am only a temporary guest. I leave when I have taken what I need, and when there is no more need for me to be here. That's the message from death to you. It's almost like this death card, this death elemental feels heavy, very dark and almost scary. And I wonder if it's not quite a shadow being, but it's another kind of a being that is very connected with the deceased. I'm just getting an image in my mind of a very sort of dark looking being that certainly seems intimidating. But their function is to take away what does not serve you anymore, what needs to go, or to break up what needs to end. And then by doing that, they are freeing you of your baggage from the past, where you're actually going to be able to come into a new cycle of heightened intuition, of high vibration, of feeling good, of celebrating your achievements, and other people celebrating you as well. And this spirit world coming through to celebrate you in your dreams, in your day-to-day. Look for signs like feathers, for instance, and all of these would be indications that spirit is with you, celebrating you just the same. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I look forward to connecting with you in a future video. All right. Hello, number 4. Number 4 with the amethyst. Number 4, there is some toxicity that you need to let go of. That is definitely clear. You may resonate with reading number 3, but if not, and this is the reading for you, then just, pay close attention to the messages coming through, because I feel like this is going to be a very important message here. There is some heavy toxicity that you need to let go of. It could be someone else. It could just be a memory that you keep replaying, and this memory is actually affecting your day-to-day through the domino effects that it creates in your mind and your heart. And this is super toxic. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're holding on to, or whoever you're holding on to, who is no longer treating you well, you need to let this go. That is the only way to heal here. So let's see what what the cards say, what the elementals have to say. Let's see which elemental is coming through to work with you here. Well, you've got a whole bunch, but I'm just going to ask to narrow it down. Okay. I got your cards. Are you looking forward to seeing them? All right. Oops. I think I moved something around here. All right. Woo. All right, that's good. That's good, camera shot. All right, are you a little bit of a perfectionist too? You always like to have things just right? That's just a side thing. That might be you, that might be not. That might just be me. Okay, so you have the Dark Lady. You have a shadow being coming forth here. So you might feel a little bit of an intense energy right now, or you may have some experience with shadow beings, but just like the shadow beings came to see me, if you didn't listen to the first part of the video, that's partly what I was talking about. They're coming to see you as well. The fawn, the piper, the oakmen. All right, this is going to be an interesting reading for sure. This is going to be an interesting reading. So the shadow beings have come forward to play. They don't always play. Their version of playing can seem maybe a little frightening sometimes. They usually like to come out at night, hence the word shadow. They like the shadows. It's just the way their energy vibrates. That's just the essence of their being, right? They're kind of these more dark, serious, heavier toned energies. Now they are a little bit of a paradox, because the ones coming forward, of course, are coming forward with love, even though the dark lady looks quite intimidating, especially her eyes. So the shadow beings are coming forward from the place I was staying to speak with you, to see you. They tell me that you are a master manifester, and you are putting your energy in the wrong places. You are actually, I'm going to swap out this incense. I forgot all about it in the video. They are saying that you actually are able to manifest anything you like, but that you've been manifesting the wrong things because you've just been thinking about them all the time. And I know that that's kind of harsh to hear. And it's not necessarily that you know, because you can't always control your thoughts. I don't want you to worry about, oh no, now I have to watch what I think about because I've been manifesting that. It's not necessarily about that. You've also been manifesting whatever it is because does that work there? No, it does not. So it's also, you've been manifesting whatever it is during the time, even if it's negative, because you need to learn something from it too. So everything has its time and place, but it is time now to let go of that. It is time now to come into your own power, because you are a very spiritually enlightened being. You are a very powerful being. You have a very heightened intuition. You might want to look at the totem animal, deer totem animal, because I believe that is your totem animal. You have a heightened connection with the divine. Okay, you have been gifted the ability, just like the story of the Pan Piper, or the Pied Piper, whatever that story was called, where that guy comes into the village to get rid of all the rats, right? You can create, just with your, maybe you have a gift with music as well, and you can create such beautiful notes that they draw other people in, and they can make other people feel what you are feeling when you wrote it, when you wrote the song, or when you're playing the song, or when you're playing the piece. And you can also inspire others through your art and your music as well. Now, if you don't play an instrument and if music isn't your thing, don't worry. There's something about music, though, maybe even listening to music or humming to yourself, even while you're just doing your chores, around the house, and you have like a tune that you're humming. All of that is very good to help you get into a smooth, free-flowing vibration where you can then easily manifest what it is you want. So in order to change your thoughts a bit, it's not so much about controlling your thoughts, like I said. It's just a shift of focus from your thoughts to your heart space. So by doing that, you say, it doesn't matter what's happening in my mind, and it doesn't matter what I'm feeling, but deep down I have a knowing. And so maybe it's not even shifting your focus to your heart space, but just shifting your focus to your higher self or a higher power. and having this good, healthy communication there. And it's of knowing that you can manifest what it is you want despite what you're thinking and feeling. As long as you understand in your mind that what you're thinking and feeling is not necessarily real, does not represent reality, and a lot of times our emotions lie to us because they don't give us an accurate assessment of what's happening in the situation. If we get triggered by something that someone's saying or doing, that person may not be aware that they did anything wrong. And so we may be looking at what that person is doing and interpreting it into a certain way that may not actually reflect that person's intentions. Does that make sense? So our emotions lie to us sometimes. The shadow beings coming forth are asking you to stop feeling so, and I'm sorry, this is no judgment from me, because I would be more careful with my words if I were giving advice, but shadow beings are very blunt. They don't care to be soft and soothing and hold your hand. They say what needs to be said, or they do what needs to be done. But they can only get your permission to clear away the negative patterning in order for you to move forward. They cannot force you to do anything that you don't want, of course, but they can intimidate you to a certain point that you're saying, that you say, okay, I'll do it, just because their presence can be very scary. But that would be more so an interpretation of their energy, that you would interpret their energy as scary and then want to listen to what they're offering you. But they're not trying to intimidate, is what I'm trying to say. So you are a very powerful, intuitive being. You have the ability to manifest. My dog is getting excited for some reason, so that kind of confirms that you have this abundance of energy, that you're only sort of self-sabotaging in a way, right? I didn't even say what I wanted to say. The shadow beings ask you to stop. Okay, I'm just going to say it. They're asking you to stop playing the victim, because you're not the victim. They remind you that you have a lot of power, and you're just not seeing it correctly. You're not seeing yourself as you are. You don't realize the power that you have at your fingertips. Your energy makes a lot of noise when you come into a room. You create a lot of, just like my dog, making a lot of noise right now, confirming what I'm saying right now. So your energy does make a lot of noise as you come into a room, in a good way. But if you're in negative vibration, you can also create ripples of negative patterning in others as well. So it's a little overwhelming, and it's a little bit of a heavy responsibility to carry. That doesn't mean that you always have to be in a good, positive mood. It just means that you have to be a little bit more responsible with how you take care of your own emotions and well-being. And if you're in a negative place, but you generally are doing a very good job keeping up with taking care of your emotional well-being, then you're not going to have as much of an effect than if you're just deciding to stay in this negative place because you feel helpless, and you start to create a narrative for yourself. And the more energy that you put into this story, the more it becomes true. So now Spirit, the shadow people are asking you to put energy into what is true. That's the way they're phrasing it. What is true? Because all these other things that you're telling yourself are lies. So you need to put energy into what is true. Okay, what is true? Think about what is really true. What is true to you? you're a wise person, you're a wise soul, you're a wise old soul, you think about things at length. Shadow beings coming to you is actually a compliment. A shadow being would not come towards, shadow beings are very picky about who they work with, and they only come to those of us who are ready to heal in a drastic way and ready to sacrifice what no longer serves them. So right now you are being asked to sacrifice what no longer serves you anymore. Something that you've held on to very dear. It could even be just pride and ego to a certain extent, right? Your shadow shadow selves. I don't know, you might want to do some shadow work. That would be, sorry, a slip of the tongue. You might want to think about some shadow work that might be of interest to you. But the shadow beings, the shadow people are asking you to really, from the root level, to pull out the weed, pull out the roots with the weed, and throw it out, or compost it, and not let it, not let those, excuse me, those weeds entangle themselves with all of these, flowers that are just trying to grow, right? Because that's what weeds do. They take over the space, almost like a parasitic type of entity. So the shadow beings are asking you to rip out those parts of yourself that do not work anymore for you, that haven't been working for you for a long time, that have possibly never really worked for you to begin with, but maybe served as a sort of coping mechanism. Really to observe yourself is what these elemental beings are saying. Observe your behavior. Observe who you are. And you will get the answers of what exactly you need to let go of. But I think you know. You already know. Maybe you need to think about it a little bit, but you know exactly what it is deep down. And if not, then you'll figure it out within a half an hour of watching this video. That's my special prediction. And once you do that, you're going to be coming into full chakra alignment with yourself energetically in order to be this healing vibration for others, and to go forward on your life manifesting what it is that you want. You are the key to your success. It all starts in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. It starts in changing the narrative around. If you're in a bad vibration, in a bad mood, that's okay, but make sure that you write a narrative that's different to the one that you've already told yourself time and time again, and that you've been telling yourself for a long time. A narrative that just is a broken one, that is not true and doesn't work for you, because it's blocking you from manifesting happiness when you're actually just manifesting doom and gloom, and you don't want that anymore. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I look forward to reading for you in a future video. And very cool, by the way, with the shadow beings. That's awesome. All right. I look forward to seeing you soon.